A character from a Netflix action thriller series might be the perfect Reacher replacement, even though he is the complete opposite of the Alan Ritchson character. Adapted from Lee Child's Jack Reacher books, Amazon's Reacher has gradually risen in the ranks to become one of the most compelling action thriller shows on stream. Although the show arguably experienced a slight dip in overall quality with its second installment, its future still looks bright after the renewal of its third and fourth seasons and the announcement of its spin-off series. While Amazon has had Reacher for quite some time, Netflix seemingly struggled to have its own major action thriller TV franchise. However, after the renewal of an action thriller Netflix series, it is hard not to believe it could be the streamer's perfect Reacher replacement. While the main character in the Netflix series is nothing like Alan Ritchson's Jack Reacher, he is intriguing in his own way to drive a full-fledged action television franchise. Netflix's The Night Agent, which, like Reacher, is based on a book, has been renewed for Season 3. Its Season 3 confirmation ahead of its Season 2 release is not surprising since its first installment performed incredibly well on Netflix. As of October 27, 2024, The Night Agent Season 1 has a view time of 803,200,000 hours on Netflix, making it the 7th most watched English-language TV show on the streaming platform. In terms of overall popularity, Amazon's Reacher may still be ahead of the Netflix series because it benefits from the original books' acclaim and existing fanbase. However, The Night Agent Season 1's success and Seasons 2 and 3's renewal highlight how it holds the same franchise potential as Reacher. When it comes to genres like sci-fi and fantasy, Netflix seems to have a vast catalogue of long-running shows. With The Night Agent, the streaming giant can also leave its mark in the action thriller genre and compete with giants like Amazon's Reacher. Although both Peter Sutherland and Jack Reacher find themselves fighting against conspiracies in their respective narratives, the two characters are not the same. While Reacher willingly sets out to become a vigilante by punishing all wrongdoers who cross his path, Sutherland only happens to be the right guy at the wrong place and time when he gets embroiled in The Night Agent Season 1's central conflict. Sutherland always wanted to learn about the truth behind his father's death and the accusations of treason against him. Jack Reacher, too, often coincidentally ends up in situations that require his intervention, but his approach is far more proactive and deliberate. However, his story would have been completely different if he had not received the call from Rose Larkin. Jack Reacher, too, often coincidentally ends up in situations that require his intervention, but his approach is far more proactive and deliberate. Unlike Jack Reacher, the Night Agent's Peter Sunderland also does not possess any special abilities. While he was always ready to become an agent, he does not have superhuman strength like the Alan Ritchson character in Reacher. While Jack Reacher is close to 6 feet 5 inches tall according to the original books' lore, Paul Sunderland is close to 6 feet. Gabriel Basso, who plays Peter Sunderland, did many of his own stunts in The Night Agent Season 1. Alan Ritchson read all the Jack Reacher books to prepare for his role in Amazon show. There is only one The Night Agent book, which was written by American novelist and journalist Matthew Quirk. Since The Night Agent Season 1 has already loosely adapted the book story, Season 2 will feature an original storyline. This makes The Night Agent even more similar to Amazon's Reacher because it will also likely unfold as an anthology series with each of its seasons following standalone narratives. Since the show's Season 1 has a conclusive ending where Peter becomes the titular Night Agent, Season 2 will mark the inception of a new arc for the character. While The Night Agent Season 1 was primarily filmed in British Columbia, Canada, Season 2's shooting took place in New York City, Thailand, and Washington, D.C. Unlike Reacher, however, The Night Agent has already exhausted its source material, adding an air of unpredictability to its story. While Reacher, too, takes some creative liberties in each installment, it never drifts too far from its source material. Owing to this, its story beats are predictable for those who are familiar with the original Lee Child books. The Night Agent, in contrast, will completely stand on its own and venture into uncharted territory with its upcoming seasons. Reacher Season 3 is adapting Lee Child's Persuader, which means it will be more similar to Season 1 than Season 2. Unlike Season 2, in which Jack Reacher teamed up with the former members of the 110th Special Investigation Unit to take down the bad guys, Reacher Season 3 will feature him in another solo small-town mission. Jack Reacher's primary narrative will again be driven by his hunger for revenge. However, as Lee Child's Persuader suggests, he will face one of his strongest enemies to date, a 7-foot-tall character named Paulie. Show. Rotten Tomatoes critics' score. Rotten Tomatoes audience score. Reacher Season 1. 92%. 91%. Reacher Season 2. 98%. 78%. The Night Agent Season 1. 74%. 78%. When it comes to The Night Agent, it is hard to predict how it will unfold in Season 2. However, given how Peter's mission had personal stakes in Season 1, it seems likely that Season 2 will try to be different from the inaugural installment by raising the stakes for the main character, but not making them personal for him. The Night Agent Season 2's diverse filming locations also suggest that its story might have a massive international conspiracy at its core, which could potentially make it even more compelling than Season 1 and a worthy competitor to Amazon's Reacher.